Hi Virgo, hope you guys are doing great today. Welcome to your general messages for the 1st through the 7th. Let's get right into things. Let's get right in. It's going to be a crazy week, right? We have 2 fixed T-squares coming up. So for you guys, this is going to be heading between your 6th, 9th, and 12th house. So you're going to have, we've been talking about Saturn and Aquarius being square Uranus and Taurus. We've been talking about that, right? You know that you have Saturn in your 6th house. Most of you know this at this point. And you have Uranus in that 9th house. It's also trining your sense of self. So I actually feel like you guys are going to be receiving this energy a lot kinder than some of the other energies. But then that Mars and Leo energy is going to be in your 12th house on the 3rd into the 4th, and then at the end of the week on the 7th, Venus and Mars are both going to be in that 12th house, which is the subconscious, right? Which is the house of the hidden. But we have Venus then is also going to be making a T-square with Saturn and Uranus on July 7th, just a few days later. So lots of wacky energies, lots of angry energies, lots of tension, lots of, okay, we really need to make changes, right? This is about Saturn and Uranus square shows tension between the changes that need to happen and the obstacles and roadblocks and resistance to that change. And it can be like bring hidden truths to light. It could just clear out the cobwebs from your window so you can see what's really going on, kind of thing. Because Saturn always says you have to do what the square planet represents, right? So in this case, you have to wake up. We all do. We all have to wake up, face the truth of a particular situation in our life. I'm sure you know how that resonates with something in your life. Like what really needs to change by the end of this year. And you have to address the breakdown and break away from the bad situation or fix what's not working. So for a lot of you, it's going to be this real transformative energy, right? In a very beautiful way. Other people are going to be a lot more challenged. Obviously, it's going to depend on what's going on in your personal chart. So when I reference signs, I'm talking about the archetypes, right? So you just want to be careful, though, this week of how people are going to be reacting. I'm saying reacting and not responding. Let me pull the cards. We're going to talk about that in a second. Because I feel like you may be on the receiving end of something. I don't really feel like you're going to be devil energy. I really don't feel like the issue is going to be coming from you, and I'm not saying that to you because I'm speaking to you. Look, I don't know how many of you know what the phrase change back means, but if there is a time period where we're going to be experiencing a ton of change backs, this is going to be it. So I like to give examples for this. I think everybody kind of just needs to understand that this is what's going to be going on. Let's say you drew the line, right, in the sand about what you're willing to accept and not expect, having to do with somebody who's maybe verbally abusive, emotionally abusive, or maybe not even abusive. Maybe somebody who just feels like very entitled to treat you a particular way. And you make it very clear that you're not going to put up with this stuff anymore. And this is where you need to be ready for some change back maneuvers. You have to be careful here. And this is where you have to put on your thinking cap and that Virgo energy of problem solving, right? But kind of just step back. Because what happens here is a lot of people that you're dealing with, right, during this, in this energy, may resort to playing some sort of game with you. Somebody who maybe has not been acting in the best way towards you, they're going to push back to you standing up for yourself. So the person acting poorly likes you better when you let them get away with things. That person acting poorly likes you better when you're not so certain of your boundaries. And if you don't play along with them anymore, then they're going to have to adapt to your new truth in order to continue the relationship. This could have to do with intimate, friend, family, work, it doesn't matter. And if they feel threatened by it in this particular energy, they're going to make you feel or look like the bad guy, right? And they can end up reacting in a very harsh way, very hateful way, very revengeful way. And it's the kind of thing where it's like, look, I want to talk to you about something. I don't think this is working out. This isn't working out. You're rejecting me. I never loved you anyway. I never loved your sorry ass. I was never a real friend to you. You were never a real friend to me. You were a horrible daughter, a horrible son, a horrible brother, sister, without, you know what I mean? Like that. And it's like, whoa, Okay, now the challenge of this change is going to require all of us to anticipate that resistance. So some energies are going to be dealing with more than others. I don't feel like it's going to be you putting it out there. I feel like you may be quite likely on the receiving end of this. So it's very important that you manage your own anxiety and your feelings of defensiveness so that you could be your best self when you're dealing with this callous idiot, and realize that they're acting out through their anxiety. And I'm not a name caller, I'm not, but man, if there's ever an energy where people pull out the idiot card, I mean, this is it. This is it. And the thing is, though, at the same time, you're not going to want to take no for an answer, because the Mars and Uranus square is going to be pushing all of our buttons. None of us are able to escape from it. The thing is, I feel like for you guys, because you have this Mars in Leo and this Venus in Leo energy happening in your 12th house, which is the house of the hidden and the subconscious, and that's where a lot of the newness is coming in. I feel like on an internal level, your perspective is going to be changing. What it is that you really want is going to be changing. What it is that you dream about is going to be changing. And I really like this, because Saturn in the 6th, you're really needing to look at the 6th house, Virgo, right? I mean, that is your home. You guys are the landlord of the 6th house. But I feel like a lot of you are going to be recognizing within yourselves, like, you know what, I really kind of want to change my belief system when it comes to work, when it comes to how I view my own mental, physical, and emotional health, you know, and making, like, tweaking changes there, right? Because that is what your house is. You guys are the problem solvers. It rules your pets, it rules your mental, physical, emotional health, and it rules your day-to-day, especially your day-to-day work environment. And with Saturn in there, Saturn's going to be pushing you to make changes. Saturn has grown cobwebs around things in the 6th house for you, and it's time for you to clean those up and realize and recognize where you need to update your belief system when it comes to that. Now, it's sitting in natural opposition to the 12th house, which is where the new is coming in, but that's in your subconscious. So you're in your subconsciously, you're going to be just changing when it comes to relationship, when it comes to what it is that you want to do in your life. Now, Uranus and Taurus, which is this real breaking free energy, and I'm suggesting that this is the apex of this T-square energy. This is going to be happening in your 9th house, which is your belief system. So shocking surprises. Things are going to be coming in. Epiphanies are going to be had. Realizations are going to be made by you, Virgo, right now, where you're going to be realizing and updating your moral code, your moral compass, your belief system, what it is that you want to do. A lot of you may be deciding to go back to higher education. A lot of you may be deciding, you know what, I want to move and I want to live in a different country. I just want to deal with different people, that kind of thing. And I actually think this is going to be pretty positive for you, because, again, like I mentioned before, it's trining your sense of self. So I kind of like this for you. I think that you're going to be experiencing this a little easier than everyone else. Not that now I'm saying that not knowing who I'm speaking to. So I don't know what else is aspecting your chart. I don't know what your rising sign is. If Virgo's your rising, if it's your sun, it's your moon, it's your Venus, I don't know. So take it with a grain of salt. This is for the archetype. But I feel like you guys are going to be, you're sort of one of the luckier energies, I feel, what I'm seeing in the astrology. So let's get to the Celtic cross spread. And this is going to be for anything. This can be for relationship, family situation, career, money situation, anything like that. So we're starting off with the 8 of Cups, having been the past situation. So I feel like you made the decision to depart from something, to make a big change, because you were realizing that something just wasn't working for you anymore. This is you exercising very high degree of emotional intelligence, recognizing that something didn't feel right. Now, that something could be a job, it could be a person, a situation, or it could even just be you recognizing and realizing where you might get in your own way. And you wanting to move away from that. You saying, like, okay, you know what? No regret here. Did the best I could. Time to move on. Because this is really a good energy to work on yourself. So I feel like a lot, it's just especially because we have the 6th house, 12th house energy going on. A lot of you may have either maybe recently started doing really beautiful shadow work, really beautiful therapy, maybe a little bit of both, but just really doing some positive work on yourselves. I love it. Really good. Okay, current situation, you right now, this is you right now, Two of Cups energy. I like it. I like it because it's a Venus and Cancer energy. It's very mutually supportive. So you're showing up right now, Virgo, which is very nice. Now, some of you may be in the space where you're beginning a new relationship, particularly if you've been unattached. Those of you who have been in relationship, if things have been difficult, harmony returning, you guys figuring things out through positive conversation, right? I always say Two of Cups is positive conversation. Even though it's a Venus and Cancer, this is a good conversation. This could also have to do with having a good conversation regarding anything having to do with money or work. Sitting down, talking about money, talking about hours, talking about responsibility, and it going well, right? So that's kind of like where you're at, right? But let's look at what your challenges, the current challenges is Four of Cups energy. So you may be in the space where you're feeling very restless. A lot of you might be feeling kind of bored, even apathetic when it comes to your job, when it comes to a relationship, just when it comes to life. You're like, is this it? You know, am I ever going to meet the right one in relationship? Am I ever going to be in that job that I feel like 100% comfortable in and like I'm in the right space? That kind of thing, you know? Now, for those of you who are coupled and you like nobody's going anywhere, your relationship just might need a little spice. Where you guys are having this positive relationship and harmony is returning, but the challenge is in like, all right, you know what? Okay, we had that really great talk. That's great because you were feeling very sort of detached in the situation. But now you're like, I don't know. there's something about it. I just can't pin it. You know, I can't be with them. I don't think I could be in this because of A, B, and C. Or if it has to do with a job, I don't think this job is for me because of A, B, and C. But what you need to see, and I know I could tell you guys this and have you accept it in the right way, what you need to see is that there may be something unhealed inside of you, that this person, relationship, family situation, friendship, whatever it is poking at in you that never properly healed. And that could be from a past experience that was painful for you, that was not a positive experience. And the Four of Cups really is suggesting that you try your very, very best to understand that there's a need that exists here to heal some sort of unhealed past issue. And even just by looking at it and recognizing it, you don't have to figure it all out in a day, but just by recognizing something that you struggle with can make all of the difference here, which I think is quite nice. Now, the basis of the situation right now is this feeling of loss, is this feeling of sadness. Right? Now, this can be because of a relationship or a friendship. This could also be because of work or a money situation that ends before you felt ready for it to end, or you feel ready for it to end. But you're going to be able to deal with it and move on and assimilate whatever kind of stress you're experiencing with sadness, whatever it is, in order to make a new start. There is an energy that's very supportive of that here, right? The present situation, though, is you very much focused on the right thing. I like this. This is you taking care of your body, your mind, your finances. Now, as a general influence, this could indicate marriage or money coming to those of you who are coupled. This could also indicate good financial management, a really great sex life. This could also indicate fertility. For some of you, right? Not all of you. For some of you, that's just as a general influence. But this could also be you either being with a person who's just very reliable and supportive and affectionate and just a very generous energy, who understands what's necessary to make a situation grow, right? Because remember, Pentacles is not only about money, it's also about mental, physical, and emotional connection. So I feel like a lot of you, your head is definitely in the right space as you sort of transition, and I feel like you are transitioning. We have the suggested approach is the Queen of Cups, which is about recognizing what it is that you need to feel safe and secure. You know, a recommended approach here, honestly, Virgo, is just be loving and giving and try your best to make the world a better place. And how cheesy does that sound? I know. But if you're here resonating with relationship, this is about falling in love and a deepening of love and emotional honesty about, though, what's needed to make something work. And I want to clarify that, right? Because in astrology, the Queen of Cups is a Gemini and Cancer energy. So it's conversation, Gemini, with a new approach, Gemini. And Cancer, which is all about feeling grounded, rooted, safe, and secure at home, right? So there's a lot of intuitive energy going on, and this is you really, this is the energies are recommending that you exercise a very high emotional intelligence. Don't be afraid of intimacy. Don't be afraid of anything, right? Don't be afraid of whatever it takes to make something work, right? Because you're going to be in this space where you're really going to treasure and value the things that really speak to your heart space, and things that you may have, for any reason, right, have maybe felt a little disconnected from, and you sort of coming back to that. Now, the energies external to you, this is the energy external to you surrounding you, or this could be others, is the idea of justice and the idea of fairness, right? And this is a Libra energy. This is the energy that governs the 7th house of contractual partnerships. So that could be business partnerships, it could be marriage partnerships, or anyone that you have like a soul contract with. So if this has to do with relationships, this is about balance and fairness being really important to look at right now, right? Because remember, this is ruled by Venus, and Venus really wants us to feel really good about being in something, feel that things are equitable and loving, right? This is an energy that suggests you need to make sure that your emotional needs are met. If this has more to do with like a career or money kind of thing, you may be experiencing a challenging situation that almost feels like you're being tested. And this energy means things are ultimately going to go well and in your favor, having anything to do with any sort of negotiation, even if it doesn't feel like it right now. But any situation where there needs to be a meeting of the minds, right? If money's been an issue, things are set to improve, which is really good. But it's about what's fair. It really is about what's fair. And, if any of you who have any sort of like legal lawsuit cooking here, any sort of legal issue, including like any kind of property of all kinds, any sort of situation is going to be resolved. If papers need to be signed, things will progress nicely, all of that good stuff. This is the energy that's surrounding you also. Somebody may be coming to you. The fact that we get the justice is at the lower court. So you might be dealing with, a lawyer that's actually going to be helping you out right now in a way to your benefit, which is good. Okay, so let's look at your blockage. We have the Page of Cups. So this is the challenge here. Page of Cups it's personification of water here, right? So this is good news coming in, right? When it's undebilitated, right? But being in your block, it's got a little bit of debilitated action going on here. So you may be waiting for some good news to come in. You might be waiting to hear from some sort of potential partner. You might be in the space of waiting, which could be very frustrating. Others of you might be dealing with somebody who's very immature. There might be this, you might also be dealing with or working through a breakup, working with or through the idea of needing to be dependent on somebody or somebody being dependent on you. And this might be a little bit of a block that you're dealing with right now. So it's very psychological placement, very psychological. It doesn't mean that it's necessarily a thing out in the 3D, but it does tell me, right, for sure here, we have this near future energy of the Devil. The Devil does indicate imbalance and a shackling. If this has to do with a relationship, for sure, challenges are indicated here. Maybe you're dealing with a controlling partner or some sort of cheating situation, right? Like a lust over love situation, some sort of thing, or codependent patterns. Those of you who are separated, you might feel like there is this financial dependence or some other ongoing money or property issue, right, that keeps you tied to the past, that has to do with the relationship and not happily, right? It could be a little bit of a shackling energy. Some of you might be dealing with the Devil energy having to do with work, right? Where you're experiencing some sort of like unfair contract or some sort of career that's super unsatisfying. It's just you're not satisfied. You might have a very domineering boss, or just you might be working with very messy people, right? Where it's just toxic work environment, but you feel like you have to stay because you feel financially trapped, right? Which can be difficult, or you just may be dealing in general with very difficult people in your life. Some of you might have a really difficult landlord. You might have very domineering friends, domineering family members. Just be careful of psychic vampires, right? Just generally negative people that drain the hell out of your energy. You may feel very kind of controlled and invaded right now. Well, in the near future, really. So just have your spidey senses on for that. Careful of that. And then we have the Three of Cups as the outcome, which is about a very celebratory vibe, very abundant energy. I do like this. This is about you being very supported. This is about you doing a lot of healing, getting past something. Excellent energy for new relationships. 3 is the number of creation, so really nice. Just make sure you don't party too much if you guys are prone to that. So let's see what else we have here. Okay, clarifying the 3 Cups energy. So we have the Strength card, the 6 of Swords, Ace of Wands. Okay. Huh. 2 Pentacles in the reverse. Okay. So we have the Strength energy that's clarifying the 3 of Cups. So, well, some of you may be meeting a new relationship. Some of you may be getting into a new job. Something creative that really speaks to your creativity, something that you really love. Remember, Strength is Leo. Leo is the landlord of the 5th house of creativity, falling in love, love affairs, romance. It also has to do with children, hobbies, things like that. Very celebratory vibes. So some of you might be finding out that you're expecting. Some of you might be tapping into some sort of creative endeavor. And as you're tapping into it, though, you're needing to leave something. So whatever it is that you're leaving, you may be leaving a way of life, you may be leaving a job, you may be leaving a relationship, but this is moving on to manifest something. So some of you may be manifesting more mentally than physically right now, right? Maybe you, like whatever this news is, right? With the Strength energy, it's not coming to fruition just yet. But there is this idea of detachment and time apart, allowing space to do some internal work. It's very interesting. So you're focusing a lot on you right now, Virgo, and I think that is very smart, right? Strength energy, again, being that Leo energy, is very me-based energy. What do I like to do? The love that I want, the love that I have, the children I have, what I want, kind of thing. And you moving away from anybody who's putting a whole like boatload of restrictions on you, particularly if it has to do with, you know, the work environment, anything like that. Because again, with this Uranus energy in Taurus, this is very breaking free energy, right? In the apex of everything that's going on. And it's trining your sense of self. So where you feel that tension, and you are going to be feeling internal tension when it comes to your love life, when it comes to your work life, when it comes to what it is that you want to do, right? Lots of energy in here. You're going to be feeling this tension and this restriction and this delay and this no and all of that. But as a result of that, you're going to be realizing, and your whole moral code and moral compass and your perspective about relationship, about your work, about how you work your life, your day-to-day. I mean, 6th house really is your day-to-day. Things are going to be changing for you. We have the Ace of Wands as a center card here, which is beautiful energy for new beginnings, right? New beginning, new enterprise. This could be a new job, a creative project. This is also the energy of virility. So this can indicate a new start for a family. So if it's not a new family member coming in, you could be starting a new chapter within your family, maybe reconnecting with your kids or something like this. This could be also a new chapter of passion, creativity, motivation. Very sexy energy for those of you who are looking for a relationship, for sure. But we have the Ace of Wands being clarified by the 9 of Pentacles. Again, Virgo, I can't express to you how much I am getting that you guys are A, healthy right now, like mentally healthy, and B, not afraid to go there inside of yourself. And I just love this for you. I really do. We have the 9 of Pentacles, which is about accomplishment and success in independent endeavors. You really putting a lot of work into yourself, and you getting rewards for that, but sort of across the board. Because this can indicate financial rewards for your effort. This can also indicate you finally meeting a healthy connection after doing some solid work on yourself, right? 9 is the number of productivity, being able to do it. But you're also very cognizant of the fact that communication is so important and the need to work with somebody in relationship. But that's a choice. That doesn't happen on its own. And a lot of times I'm not even going to suggest a lot of times, I think all of the time, most people need to learn that. They need to learn that being happy in a relationship and getting what it is that you need, want, and desire in a relationship is a choice that we have to communicate to a person. If that person doesn't want to meet us halfway, if they don't want to step up, if they don't want to work on the relationship equal to us, then we have our answer regarding that relationship. Because that's what the Lovers is. The Lovers is an Archangel Raphael card, and Archangel Raphael is all about, things need to be equitable. Everybody has to show up fairly. It can't be one person doing all of the work, right? And then he's going to bless it, right? It's a very nice energy, but it's you realizing that. You're doing a lot of really good work and on yourself and recognizing that where you might allow people to get away with a little too much. Look, that happens a lot. Virgos get a lousy rap for that, right? Because you guys always seem very together. And I've said this several times in my videos where it's very common for a Virgo energy to feel like, first of all, people don't really ask you, so how you doing? Very much, because there's this assumption that you're always like, you always have your shit together, right? Also, it's very common for Virgo energy to sort of not be appreciated wholly so at work for all of the talents, gifts, and abilities that you bring to the table, and you guys bring so much. It's a very interesting kind of dynamic, right? But you're recognizing where this is like no longer, you don't want to have that anymore. So you're recognizing like maybe if you change your approach, your strategy, not that you're blaming yourself or anything, but you're recognizing like, okay, I could afford a little bit of growth in a particular area. I'm not afraid. I'm ready to go in and do the work. And I feel like it's just going to pay you off exponentially for you. We have this beautiful Three of Wands. This is so good. This is one of the good fortune cards, Sun in Aries. This is about thriving business, very busy, intense period for you. This can be an indicator for some of you for a wedding or at least an important relationship, business connection, friendship, something important coming in. And you're going to be in this space where you're going to be able to move on to realize your plans. You might be dealing with some sort of unconventional person or group of people, but it's like just what you need, right? And you're just not looking back anymore, Virgo. That's it. You're turning your back on the past. You don't want to keep regurgitating anything that hasn't worked up to this point. Even if you're in a very long-term relationship, even if you've been at a job for a long time, it's time for you to do things differently. You're working on yourself, you're growing, and you want your life to reflect that. Now, some of you may be in a space where you're dealing with somebody who's greedy, some of you may be at least fearing you're going into debt or you're stressing about money. Some of you may be in that space right now. Now, if you're not, you may be with somebody who is, and that's like sort of an issue that you are having to contend with as well. But I like the final outcome card, the Four of Wands. This is great. If you're resonating with this as a relationship, this is a new partner opening up to you, expressing their feelings and things going really, really well. Those of you who are in a long-term relationship or at least a solid relationship, this is a honeymoon energy, we call it. But really all that means is a leveling up and creating a firmer foundation. This is also just a very, very auspicious energy for creativity and projects. Very celebratory vibe too. Really nice success after completion of something. This is nice, right? And what you offer to a person in a relationship, in a job, whatever you're offering to a person or a situation is going to be very well received and very appreciated. So that's really good, right? Because I feel like you guys could use some of that. You're doing the work and you should be on the receiving end of that appreciation. So I do like that. All right. So that's what we have for this. Now let's go into relationship, and only I'm going to do a 7-card ellipse reading. And then after that, I'm going to pull a few cards for those of you who happen to be in separation. I know not everyone is in that space, but for those of you who are, we will pull those energies for you. Okay. Messages for our Virgo friends, relationship. Messages. Past, present, future, advice, external or others, your block, hopes and fears, outcome. Well, who doesn't love the star as an outcome energy? We're starting off here in the past. We have the 8 of Swords. Yeah, Virgo, I mean, there was something that you knew had to change, right? I mean, the 8 of Swords is about feeling the self-imposed limitation, feeling very trapped, thinking things are never going to get better. And that can create a kind of anxiety, right? Having to do with relationships. So you felt like you didn't belong in that relationship anymore, or you felt like you don't belong being single anymore. Whatever situation you had yourself in the past, you're like, no, I need some determination to pull myself out of this right now. I have to convince myself that I can get into another relationship and not have it end like my past ones. Or this could be feeling like very trapped in a current relationship, feeling like things are never going to change, or at least not having the faith that they could change. Now, the present situation, we have the Page of Swords. So the Page of Swords indicates a new cycle, right? This is you very much relying on your intelligence right now, though, in relationship. You don't want to get too swept up, right? This is a personification of air, and you guys are ruled by Mercury, right? So you are already a very mercurial energy, but you're going to be getting some sort of useful information coming in. This can end up creating, for some of you, you might be meeting somebody online, you might be meeting somebody new at work, but this does indicate a new cycle. For those of you in relationship already, you might be realizing, you might find out about some sort of, new kind of couples counseling, some sort of therapy, you taking part in something that ends up helping you in relationship, right? Definitely here. Now, some of you might be dealing with this energy, right? Where somebody might be a little insensitive and a little forthright with their words, right? But ultimately they are a good person for you to be with, where they turn challenges into opportunities. They're a very quick learner. They might be a little rough around the edges, but you don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater, as we say, right? It does seem like somebody is good, they're showing up, but there does need to be a little bit of work done on them in the relationship area. Remember, pages are always immature, because they're pages. It's like they're like the children of the court, so there's this level of immaturity that you may be needing to contend with, right? And now we have the future, though. We have the future as the Ten of Pentacles. This is nice. This is the Will You Marry Me card. This is about family maturity, deepening of commitment, having shared values, property, legacy, just this idea of sharing. But with the Ten of Pentacles, there's always this family vibe about it, right? So this could also indicate you and a person that you're with. Maybe you want to buy a home or a business and you're getting some help from your family members, extended family helping you out in some way. Maybe if there are some challenges, you're getting help from extended family members. But there is this idea of family that's kind of stepping in to help out, it does seem like here. Now, this is very interesting because the advice, something that you need to look at, you have to look at where is the imbalance in this situation, in this relationship, or in your at least perception of relationship. If you're not in one right now, what is the devil energy other than this need to look and identify where do you feel the imbalance? Where is there shackling in this relationship? Now, for some of you, you might be in the space where you're recognizing maybe you are nursing some sort of addiction and that's becoming a problem in relationship. You might be dealing with somebody who's nursing an addiction. It could be to substances, but not only, right? It could be to anything, drugs, alcohol, sex, money, shopping, anything that could throw them off kilter, right? Anything that ends up compromising the relationship. But it could also be a cheating situation, narcissistic tendencies, anxiety and depression unchecked, untreated kind of thing. Well, these are all things that can end up making us feel sort of very shackled. So here, the advice is this needs to be looked at. This absolutely needs to be looked at. And you can't only look at it, you have to make the choice. Because remember, numerology is connected to the lover's energy, Gemini energy, which is the lover's energy. And what is the lover's but the need to make a choice? Because we have to choose to create balance in our relationships. It's not going to just happen on its own, and it can't just be one-sided, right? So we have next coming up, we have the external energy surrounding you or others. So we have the Hermit. And this is you. This is the surround. So you might be in the space of problem solving and doing some very deep introspection. For those of you who are single, you're likely in this space where you're thinking about all of your past experiences and your mistakes so that those things aren't repeated in the future. For those of you who are in a relationship, then it's time to invest more energy and work to smooth over any issue that needs addressing. Like this could just sort of be the energy surrounding you. Some of you also may be dealing with somebody, if this is an external energy just completely, an external person, somebody just pulling away. Somebody just sort of isolating themselves and pulling away because they're doing their own certain amount of internal work, right? So for some of you, that's how it's going to resonate. Okay, and then we have your fear, your hope and your fears. This is very interesting. Because for some of you, if you're resonating with this as a hope, you really want something to end, that there's a history to. Because it's the finality and the release of something that's going to ultimately release you from a frustration and a stress, even if it's painful. You know that it's going to be the end of a challenging era so that you can now transform into a healthier energy with fresh eyes and a new mindset, right? So a lot of you, it's like you're hoping for something to end. Some sort of painful time period. Maybe it's a painful time period of being single, or maybe a painful time period in a relationship. You know, right? So that, but some of you may at the same time be very afraid of that because you're not sure what's on the other side. So that could be kind of scary as well, right? But we have the outcome energy as the star. So this is about hope and guidance and things getting better after a difficult time. So this does, for many of this, does indicate you're destined to be with somebody. So it's time to find a soulmate, Virgo, like, you know, preferably red thread energy so that you're not just going through life learning lessons with people. You want to actually stay with the person. But this is nice. You know, this is a nice energy because it has to do with healing, right? It's the blessing of the seven sisters coming in and really focusing on the future, because the star is an Aquarius energy and astrology, and Aquarius is all about how have you been doing things? Okay, now it's time to take a different approach. It's time to do things differently. And I feel like you're doing that just because your belief system is changing with that Uranus energy in there, okay? So let's just see some clarifiers that we have here. So we have the Eight of Pentacles and the Eight of Wands. Both of them are in reverse. So the Eight of Pentacles in the reverse does indicate having a lack of focus and kind of this idea of perfectionism. You want to be careful here, Virgo. I mean, because you guys know, you guys are the perfectionists of the zodiac. So you want to be careful. It's like you being very focused on you needing to be perfect or a situation needing to be perfect in order for you to engage in it. And you have to accept that nothing's perfect, right? Anyway, that's so subjective. You know, figure out what works for you and not works and doesn't work for you. But to be able to give a person that you're dealing with or a new person a chance to be human and the space to be human is going to end up going a long way. We have the Eight of Wands in the reverse, and this does indicate frustration and delays coming up ahead of you, having to do with some sort of situation. And you might be waiting to hear from somebody, and you're in the space of waiting, particularly if they are the Hermit right now and they're pulling away. So we have the Four of Cups. You may be in the space where you're like, I can't be in this relationship anymore because of A, B, and C. I can't do it. But Virgo, you have to see what needs to be healed from your past as well. I'm not saying that everything that you're feeling about this person in this relationship or your past relationships is not valid. Just saying you really want to look at, while you're doing all this beautiful work on yourself, while you're revamping and getting these big surprises and epiphanies in your area of belief system, see what might need some additional healing from your past. We do have the Seven of Pentacles, so I like that you're going to be very patient about this, because here you're feeling very like, oh, whatever, I don't care anymore. Just feeling like very apathetic and just like, I'm not going to meet anybody that I really like. Why do I even bother? That kind of thing. But underneath it, there's this restlessness, and you might even be bored, right? So it's just something to be mindful of. But I like the Seven of Pentacles is about patience, right? Not giving up on a situation. Two of Wands, Mars and Aries, nice energy. New romantic partnership for a lot of you, maybe through work or friends. For a lot of you, this is moving on to manifest something in a relationship, but it's got to have a very different strategy, right? Because there's a confusion here, and you are of two mindsets, right? There are two aspects to the situation, and you have to figure out what it is that you want to do. Now, some of you are going to be like, do I want to be with that person or that person? Do I want to stay single or go with that person? Do I want to leave this relationship and then be alone? If we're moving forward together, are we going to live there or are we going to live there? Should we just live together or should we get married? Should we just live together and not have children? Do you know what I mean? Like that kind of thing. There's something that you've got to figure out. Ace of Wands indicates a new cycle. Wow. We have the Ace of Wands and the Page of Cups. So this does indicate, you know, Two of Wands could be you just going in a different direction here and you meeting somebody new. Very nice. Especially those of you who've been single, right? And we like the Ace of Wands. This is very auspicious, new beginnings, having to do with like virility, having to do with passion and all of that. It's passion energy, right? Ace is brand new, and then Page indicates a new cycle in your life here that's really going to be speaking to your heart space. So this is a new potential partner on the near horizon. So that is what that looks like. I feel like this was geared a little bit more towards singles for some reason. Which doesn't come up a lot, but I kind of feel like that. So if it's not your reading, maybe we get you next time. Okay, and I just want to pull a couple of in separation cards like I promised. And we'll pull some Island Time Wellness to clarify these. Let's see what we have for our Virgo friends in separation. Oh boy, okay. First card up. I want you to see the real me now. I've been hiding from our love for too long. Clarifying that is photograph. Looking at your photos and missing you. Nostalgia. Wanting to make new memories. So somebody's missing you. And then we have your silence feels safer to me. I don't want to get hurt again. This is somebody who's confused. Then we have stabbed in the back. Heartbreak, pain, separation, deception, shocking attack. Okay, so either you hurt them or they hurt you. There's some sort of pain and some like, all right, I don't want to go near that again. I want it, but I don't want it. I want it, but I don't want it. My heart keeps coming back to you even though I know you've lost faith in me. And then clarifying that is not enough. Frustrated in relationship, lack of confidence, self-sabotage, fear, ego issues, jealousy. So it does seem like somebody who stabbed you in the back or was deceitful or didn't show up, whatever it is, whether it was you, whether it was them, there was this lack of confidence and the self-sabotaging behavior going on. It does look like that, right? Okay. Let's see what the Healing Yourself Oracles indicates here. Inner child. Phoenix rising. Somebody wants a new beginning with you, but they're realizing that a lot of the problems, and you might be realizing this too through all of the work that you're doing right now, Virgo, that there are a lot of unhealed issues via your inner child, right, that are impacting your adult relationships for sure. But this Phoenix rising is about having these epiphanies and these realizations and then making the decision to do things differently. So for some of you, you're going to be making this very cognizant decision to not allow your energy to even become entrenched with anybody who's toxic. Like, been there, done that, have the t-shirt, don't want to talk about it kind of thing, you know? But I like this for you because I feel like there's sort of like you're being rebirthed in a way, in the area. And I'm going to say in relationships, but I just feel like because of what's going on in your 12th house, your desires and what it is that you want for yourself are being heavily updated. Plus Uranus in your house of belief systems. It's like your dreams and your belief systems are getting a makeover. You know, while Saturn is in that 6th house saying, you know, you have to look at things here. You have to look at how you're feeling. How are you taking care of yourself? You know. All right, my friends, that is what I have for you. I hope this was helpful in some way. Remember, this may be a bit of a challenging week. If anybody is coming at you, try to stay very grounded in your energies. Be prepared to deal with somebody else's anxiety that's getting, you know, that may end up running amok. But it's this too shall pass. And remember, we have Chiron in a beautiful and harmonious trine to help us out through this. So it's not all bad. Okay, my friends, I will see you next week. You guys take care. Bye-bye.